Welcome to the podcast where we say, buy more tools. Buy more tools. Buy more tools. Buy more tools.
Welcome to the podcast where you might develop a tool addiction.
Wah, wah. In this episode today, we're going to be talking about some of the things that you need as a homeowner in your house, just as tools that we think that you should always have, even if you're not construction-y or DIY friendly or anything like that.
And we'll tell you, should you buy it cheap or should you buy the quality one? This episode is dedicated to my bestie, Lisa. We've been best friends for more than 35 years, and having someone who's known you all of the stages of your life, all of the crazy ones and all of the hard ones, who still loves you and sees the best in you is an immeasurable gift. Okay, are you ready for my story? I have a quick one to tell you. I've been dying to tell you since I went to Panera this morning.
You went to Panera and you didn't bring me back anything?
I went to another appointment after that. I left it early and went and ate my sandwich before I went to my 8 o'clock appointment. So,
Okay. Early.
I went to Panera this morning, and I was already excited because I was getting a Mountain Dew and my perfect sandwich. But then I was walking up to the door, and a woman was coming out, and the door was closing, but it just paused, and I was like, I bet I can make it through there.
Are you Tom Cruise?
I did a Panera ninja. And I went, woo, woo, woo.
Why?
I did because it was fun. And I made it through, and I was like, yeah, I made it through.
I thought this was going to be a totally different kind of story.
It's not really a story you could anticipate. It delighted me
I
so
thought you were
much.
going to say, like, my sandwich is the best sandwich I've ever had or something.
No, I mean, that's always true. But after I got through, I looked around because I was like, who can I celebrate with?
And this is why we need to go to appointments with each other.
That was. There wasn't anybody there. And then, like, I got to tell him, but I'm like, I got to wait, tell him on the podcast.
Yeah. I have a chatting topic.
What is it?
I started watching Sex and the City.
Hell yeah.
And I've never watched it before. I never watched any of the movies. I never watched
You're
anything.
such a Charlotte.
I don't even know what that means.
See, the main reason that I wanted to start watching it is because I wanted to say things like, you're such a Samantha, or something. And
Guess what I am, according to a quiz.
give me a second.
I'm going to be offended, whatever you answer. Just kidding.
Carrie.
According to the 15 quizzes I've taken, I'm Carrie.
The 15 quizzes I've taken.
Because I'm like, I can't be that cool. And then Lucas is like, I would think you were Carrie. And I was like, and he said, because you dress a little kooky sometimes. And he said, in a good way. He was like, back it up, back it up. I was like, yeah.
What are the characteristics?
I feel like you're definitely a Samantha.
I'm a Samantha?
I feel like you and Hannah are probably the same. Like, you know, when they say in astrology, like, you're like a Capricorn with like a rising this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like Charlotte with a rising Miranda.
I don't know what any of that means.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that. But I feel like I might be more Miranda with a rising Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because
Hannah's a Samantha with a rising Miranda.
Okay.
Yikes. The only characteristic I know about Samantha is that she is
A horn dog?
Yeah.
That's not she gets more characteristics later on in the show.
I'm only a season
She
and
has
a half
more
in.
traits later.
She basically just has sex with anything that moves.
Okay, but she goes to bat for her girlfriends. Actually, you're very much a Samantha in that way.
I'm a Samantha.
Yeah, she would bite people for her girls. She's like, men are for this only, but my girls are ride or die. So that's
I like it.
I
can't wait until she gets a personality.
Yeah, she gets a personality.
Yeah.
Plus,
That's funny.
I don't know, she just so does not care about patriarchal standards that I'm like,
I can't wait.
so you did have a chatting topic you wanted to talk about, and we may have chatted too long, but I think we should bring it up anyways.
What is it? I don't remember.
You said you would like to be asked about murder.
Oh. You're
Did you
supposed to,
murder
like,
somebody?
you're not supposed to say, hey, I was supposed to ask you about murder.
I know, but I thought it was funnier that way. I'm breaking the fourth wall.
So we want to share things that we love. And last week,
We
Emily,
love the murder.
Yes.
We love murder.
Well, okay, let's qualify that statement. We don't actually love murder.
We like stories about murder, and we love hearing about men who commit murder getting caught.
Yes.
This is true.
Like, it's so satisfying when they, like, or, like, I love when they, like, driving stupid and they get caught and there's, like, a body in the trunk.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like,
yeah.
They have
sleeping.
an expired registration, but they're like, also, there's a body in the trunk.
and I'm like,
Can I search? I've listened to a couple of them where they're like, the police like, can we search your trunk? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, you know there's a body in the trunk?
I know, but if
At least fight that a little. Be like, do you have a warrant?
apparently some murderers want to get caught.
Or they want the attention. I don't know. But anyway, one thing that we have in common, most of us at my Handyma'am, is that we like murder podcasts.
We love them.
So we listen to a lot of murder podcasts. And then we try and figure out, like, before it's over, who's the guilty person
Oh, yeah,
or
we
how
talk
it
about
happened.
We we're in the car and
We
we'll
do.
pause
Pause.
it. Then we
Pause.
all have a discussion and then we play it.
The
and
two
then we
people
do
in
it
the front
again.
seat are, like, pausing. And then the people in the back are like, pause it, pause it.
Yeah.
We need, like, a remote
We do.
in the back.
After we listen to, like, 30 seconds, and we're like, wait, I have an idea. What is it? I know who did it.
1 hour of an episode takes 4 hours.
I mean, we would get one episode done, like, on the way to the VFW and back. Like, in like an hour and 45 minutes of driving, we'd get one done.
Yeah.
But
That
you
was
had
so much fun, though. Like, all of us in the car together.
That was really
I
fun.
wasn't there.
Before we get off the topic of murder,
Okay,
Yep.
yes, murder.
I just
We
want to
have
say...
our own hometown, if you guys...
Oh, I
watch
forgot you were going to
my
ask me about
favorite
that.
murder.
Oh, I forgot about that part. So, My Favorite Murder is my favorite murder podcast.
Yep.
And
Mine is
buried...
morbid. I just said
Morbid.
it.
You can say it. You don't have to whisper it. Morbid.
Morbid. Elena and Ash. I want to be their best friend.
I like My Favorite Murder and Buried Bones and a bunch of other ones. But
But your
I
top is
always-
my favorite. It was your
Yes.
gateway drug.
it was my
honestly.
gateway drug. Yeah, funny story. I didn't even know about, well, podcasts in general, but murder podcasts. Like, maybe, when did you guys go to Philadelphia? You and Hannah?
Well, I wasn't married yet, so it would have been 2019.
2019. So they went to Philadelphia. The story started, they were like, we went to Philadelphia and we made the mistake of listening to this murder podcast on the way
No,
there.
we didn't. Hannah introduced it to me.
On the way there?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
Like, but you made the mistake of listening to
Oh,
it
yeah.
before you drove into a dark, scary neighborhood.
that should be a lesson for me to stop interrupting.
So they told me all about it, and I was like, this is awesome. But then they're like, it's too scary. So they stopped listening to it. At least Hannah, she was like, I live by myself. I can't listen to it anymore.
I kept it up.
But I went on to listen to every single episode, and now I'm like, it's Monday is my mini-sode, and Wednesday is my rewind, and Thursday is my new episode. But I forget frequently that I sort of have a hometown murder of my own. So my Uncle Dick and Aunt Annie were farmers, and so they lived in what like every farmhouse in a movie looks like. Farmhouse, cornfields around the barns and
AKA,
stuff.
you mean the horror movies that have farmhouses?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
kinda.
much. So
The barn had like a bunch of just random antiques in it. Like, I was like, can I keep these crutches? And they're probably from like the 1800s.
They like still have polio residue on them.
I didn't even think
I
of
don't
what
think
disease
that's
they
a
would have been
thing.
used for.
this is powdered polio. I spilled my jar of powdered polio on my crutches.
Instead of anthrax, they used to send powdered polio in notes.
Like, why do so many politicians have polio? Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, so my Uncle Dick and Aunt Annie had neighbors David and Shannon Davis.
Sorry, I can't get over my image of just polioing someone.
You're like, hi, how are you?
And they're like, my legs don't work. Oh my gosh. This story's gonna have to get cut, but I will finish telling you. So my Uncle Dick and Aunt Annie's neighbors were David Davis and Shannon Davis. And so
I'm sorry, his name was what?
David Davis. I can't speak to what his parents were thinking.
I maybe think I know why he's a murderer.
So one day, David comes like panicking over to my Uncle Dick's farm, and he's like, Dick, I need some help. Shannon fell. And Uncle Dick's like, okay, so like riding horses. So he like, Uncle Dick like puts him in one of it. He had like an ATV of some sort. Probably a 3-wheeler or 4-wheeler back then. Anyway, so they go there, and she's This is not funny.
I'm sorry, what are you laughing?
Sorry,
I
I'm
know what
laughing
you're
already.
about to say.
Just the stupidity of the husband is what I'm laughing at. Because he's like, she fell off the horse and hit her head on a rock. In this area, there are no rocks except the one very small rock laying next to her head.
It would be under her head if she was...
Yeah,
This
so...
is why men shouldn't commit murders.
Okay, but I'm not trying to give ideas, but like, why wouldn't he just grab a rock, hit her in the head with it, and then put it next to her?
That's exactly what he did. That's why it was the only rock anywhere nearby. Yeah, so long story short, this is actually a terrible story. He had taken out life insurance.
Long story short, we've been laughing, but it's actually awful.
I don't mean it that way, as long as you know that. So he had given her a horse tranquilizer.
Like, he
And then-
seduced her and then gave her a horse tranquilizer.
I don't know about the seduction part.
That was in the ID discovery about it.
Well, they were
I did,
married.
though.
I don't know how much seduction there was. Maybe he seduced
In
her.
an open field? Yeah, there's seduction involved.
What? Yuck. Anyway, they went on.
That's why her shoes were off.
I don't want to talk about that. Yeah. They went on a horseback ride. And he waited. They rode long enough that the paralytic kicked in. So then she did fall off her horse. But then he hit her in the head with a rock. And then, like, staged it. And then went running. Left his horse behind. And
Because
ran.
why would you use the mode of transportation?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. And they knew immediately her body was, like, full of this horse tranquilizer. So it was like, did he think they wouldn't run a toxicology report? Anyway, we're back. Arly has been to the bathroom. And now this is the post-pee part of the podcast.
Pre-pee, post-pee.
That's right.
Yes,
This
yes.
is the PPP, the post-pee podcast.
Post-P podcast. Are we ready for our main topic today?
I'm ready. Melissa, gonna
What
be-
is it?
What is it?
Do you need a drum roll?
It's our favorite tool!
Yay! I love it.
So, we're going to talk about our favorite tools and the most essential tools that you should have, like, in your house. And this is if you're a DIYer or if you're just, you own a place or you live in an apartment or,
Yeah.
tools that we think that everybody should have or at least have access to.
The Handyma'am starter kit?
The
I
Handyma'am
love
starter
that.
kit, yes.
This is your virtual Handyma'am starter kit.
Yes, it is. And some tools, we'll go through them all. But we're going to play a game today
Oh.
with...
Is there prizes? Can I win?
No.
Oh.
You can win a kiss.
You can win her eternal love and admiration.
I already have that.
Not until you win the game.
All right, I'm going to try. You're going down,
Her
sucker.
favorite pearl.
Okay, so the game is cheap or quality. So I have a list of I compiled a list of all of the things that our crew thinks are like the best things to have in your tool bag or their favorite tools and some other things that I added. And we're going to go through them and talk about them and their uses. And then I'm going to ask you guys whether you guys think we should get a cheap version or a quality version.
Okay, I'm
So-
ready. I'm ready. Hold on.
I need to pull
I'm
it up.
scared.
I don't like to lose.
She doesn't
I know.
like to lose. Okay.
Unless you know you're not good at it, like trivia, and then you're like, this game sucks.
I'm like, I'm getting something to eat.
This has a bonus question.
Ooh.
The first one does. The first one is measuring tapes. Cheap or quality?
Wait. It depends. Is it living in the bottom of your purse or hanging out in your junk drawer tape measure or doing work?
This is a tape measure that a person has.
Cheap.
I'd say medium.
That's not an option.
You have to pick one.
I'm prejudiced. I think good tape measure.
Okay.
By which I mean it doesn't slice you up when you use it. It doesn't come back so fast it takes your eyeballs out. It doesn't bend easily.
Okay, you're just talking about estate sale tape measures right now.
Okay, sorry. I say high quality. Expensive.
Okay. I said cheap.
Oh,
So
dang it.
Why you
here's the
said
thing.
cheap?
If you're using a tape measure every single day, get a good tape measure. But if you're not, if you just need it every once in a while, you don't need to spend $30 on a tape measure. That's just like outrageous. They have pretty good tape measures. You can get a 12-foot tape measure, which is all you pretty much need in your home. You don't need anything really longer. I wouldn't get one of those 6-foot ones because most ceilings in regular apartments
non-Hobbit homes.
Yeah, non-Hobbit homes are like 8 to 10 feet.
Yeah, we would be just fine in 6-foot homes.
Yes, we all would be fine. My Jace would
not be fine.
have like a permanent hunchback.
Yeah, he'd be like doing the limbo with his head all the time.
Yeah, I hope you like the movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame because you're suddenly Esmeralda. Sanctuary.
Okay, our bonus question. Our bonus question is: how many measuring tapes does a person need?
All of them. Do I win?
I think you only need one. My argument.
Okay.
Is that you don't want to keep switching tape measures when you're measuring because they're not all exactly the same.
Oh, she's trying to be fancy.
That's good if you're doing trim carpentry. I'd agree with that. If you're a homeowner, get 2 or 3 because the odds that you're going to lose one of them are high. The odds that you're going to lose the second one are very high. And then you have a third one that you haven't lost yet.
Potentially.
And then by the time you lose the third one,
you'll have found the first one.
the first one.
Yeah.
So I'd say 2 or 3.
There's another tried and true principle. If you buy a tape measure everybody hates, you will never lose it.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
True.
I have one in the bottom of my purse. I'm like, we don't have a tape measure. I have the one everybody hates in the bottom of my purse because nobody takes it.
And everyone at the end of the workday is like, here you go, Samantha. I don't want
that's
this.
Samantha's tape measure.
That's funny.
Yes.
My
this is fun.
recommendation is Menards has a great section of hand tools, and their tape measures are like you can get a tape measure I think for like $13 maybe. Some of them are more expensive.
At least 2 sizes, which is important.
Yeah.
Like if you're a homeowner, I would not recommend buying the 35-foot tape measure because they're heavy. They're just not. They don't.
Unless you need a weapon.
For a woman, they're not as comfortable in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I like the
Menards has multiple sizes.
Oh, I should have brought it upstairs in my car. But I have like it's pretty light and it's.
I don't know why I'm yawning again. Sorry.
It's got a lifetime warranty. So it cracks or breaks or something, I just bring it into Menards. I go grab the same one, and they just swap them out. That's all. So, like, your, $10, $20 goes, literally forever or until they probably...
Yeah, and if you have a warranty on tools, a lot of times you have to, like, pack it up and send it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But here you can just walk into a Menards and walk in with a broken one and walk out with a new one.
I would like to say for you non-Midwest listeners, Menards is pretty much exclusive to the Midwest.
Oh, is that true?
I'm sorry about that.
I did not know that.
Womp.
Womp womp.
But I'm sure there's other brands that do that.
There must be. We will find out for a future episode.
Yeah.
All the brands that honor their tape measure exchange policy.
These tools, I would say everything that we're going to talk about, look on the back of the package when you buy it and see if it has a limited warranty or a lifetime warranty or something like that. Because if it does, then it's worth getting that brand instead of another brand, because especially if it's something that, a tape measure and you're not a carpenter or you're not in the field, like buy one tape measure and like as long as you can keep track of it, then you always have one and you don't have to reinvest in it, unless like you lose it or whatever. But
which I would be likely to do.
But it doesn't need to be expensive, it doesn't need to be fancy, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. Just a run-of-the-mill tape measure, but if another one's like $2 more and you have like that lifetime warranty, then I would go for that, because for us, we put our tape measures through a lot, so it's really worth it. And I think if you're gonna spend like $10 on a tape measure, you might as well spend $12 and then have that forever and just always have it in your tool bag.
Ooh, I like this game. What's next?
The next one is a hammer.
Cheap.
Expensive.
Da-da-da. Cheap. Ha! Ha! I went with cheap. And can I ask you guys another bonus question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should you get a wooden or a metal handle hammer?
I think whatever's more comfortable for you personally.
Yeah, I prefer a wooden handle.
What do I prefer?
Which one do you think that people should get?
Oh, I think they should get the one that when they pick it up, it feels comfortable to them.
That's
I just
a
feel like
cop-out
you get
answer.
fatigued with a metal one.
I mean, most of mine are wooden, but it's like I have my mom's hammer. I have my grandpa's hammer. Like, they were very old. So those hammers are very old. So they're wooden.
Okay, I said wooden for a couple of different reasons. One of them is because they're lighter. And then another reason is they are, they have low vibration. So, like, all of the force gets absorbed, a lot of it,
I wouldn't have thought of that.
In the handle.
Yeah, I don't like using metal hammers.
Yeah, the metal, like, basically it just sends all of the shock that you're using right into your arm.
Yeah.
Which, for a homeowner, not that big of a deal because you're not using it consistently every day. Like, if you're a framer, I know Jay switched from a metal hammer to a wooden because it, day after day, it gets kind of hard. Especially if you're using it, like people who have used it for years, they have a lot of trouble with that. But they're also non-conductive.
Oh,
so
super smart.
Good. You don't.
If you're demoing with it or something, you don't want
That's smart.
Mhm.
All right, I win. Haha.
Except I answered wooden, so.
Oh, I won the bonus.
You won the regular one?
I won the regular one.
Cheap.
What's the score? What's the score?
I don't know. You're supposed to be keeping track.
I don't know.
5-0.
I don't really care.
I care.
Okay.
All right, I think
you answered one wrong and I've answered one wrong.
Okay, so I think it's 1-1.
Okay.
Yes. How many tape measures did you say you thought somebody needed?
All of them, because I lose them all the time. So, like every estate sale I go to, if there's a tape measure, buy it. If
That's true.
they're on sale, buy them. Like, I will just buy tape measures because I don't know. It's brooms and tape measures. In the last 5.5 years, I bet if I dug through our receipts, we have bought 50 or 60 brooms. I'm not even exaggerating. Why? They're huge. They're not easy to lose. Nobody wants them.
So many homeowners probably are like, cool, I got
have
a free broom.
I don't know where
Maybe
they
we
are.
should just
That
start labeling them.
and tape measures. You know what we should do is we should put like bad Laffy Taffy jokes on them. And people are like, I don't want this dumb thing.
We should get my Handyma'am.
Yeah, brooms. And then leave it as a gift.
We should.
And be like,
We
we're
should
house
leave
like,
it
you
as
know
a
what? We were
gift.
going to leave this anyway.
You know the funny thing about that, now that you mention, is that you know how you got all of us brooms,
Mhm.
and we all were responsible for our own broom.
Yes.
Well, I was like, I'm not going to take ownership of this yet because I'm not prepared to keep track of it. And
I'm not mentally prepared to keep track of a broom.
what to do when
Think
you're expecting a broom.
It was in the shop, and now I can't find it. Even
Did you
though-
label it?
No.
Well, see, it could
Because
be
I didn't
anywhere
want to
then.
take ownership of it until I was ready. And I
This is the
wasn't
problem.
ready.
Well,
I'm still not ready.
So
and
the
I
story
can't
that
find it.
Arly's alluding to is finally I came into work one day with like 8 brooms, and I was like, here, each of you, this is your broom. This is the broom you get. You all have your own, so that's what you get.
I cannot keep track of anything. And we're just going to pretend that it's really cute and adorable quality of mine.
It is a really cute and adorable quality.
Okay. Scores 1-1.
Okay. So, the next one is miscellaneous screws and nails. Cheaper quality.
Oh. You said miscellaneous.
Yeah.
That's the giveaway.
I don't know.
That's
I can't
hard.
deal with a cheap screw.
Well, we're talking about the drawer, the little, thing of screws that you just have random things.
I think if it's rando, cheap.
I think it should be expensive because I have anger issues when screws strip out.
That's true. Cheap. I said cheap.
Cheap.
Because, okay, so if you're starting out and you don't have anything, if you get a put together yourself coffee table and it has extra screws, put them in a little container and keep them. Because it's going to come to that point when you're working on something and you're like, oh, this thing just broke, or I need to put this in my wall. You're going to be like, I don't want to go get a whole box of screws
Right.
or something,
Mhm.
and then you're going to be like, you know what? I have a little container, and I have 70 different types of random screws that I'm probably never, ever, ever going to use, except for that one time.
It's like a screw insurance policy.
Exactly. And I say cheap because I think you should find them at garage sales or
Yes, estate sales, great place to buy because the people who keep workshops, they have buckets of random screws. So you just buy the whole thing usually for $2.
I would just like to plug the website in which I find estate sales, estatesales.net. They also have an app, and it shows you estate sales in your area.
I like it.
I mean, that's perfect.
Would like to give the one important caveat to the cheap screw rule. That if you need a lot of screws for a job, so you're buying like 5 or 10 pounds of screws, do not buy cheap screws.
No.
And Torx head, if you can.
Yeah, for the
those
love
of, you,
of God, first of all, flathead hater club. Second of all, Phillips head are okay in very few applications. Otherwise, you'll turn them into a circle head.
Yes, which unsurprisingly does not work. But Torx heads, they're just the star head. And as long as you put the bit in, you can just push and push and push, and it will not strip out. They are amazing.
And
they are really
I kind
great.
of think they're the cutest.
They are cute, yeah.
They're cute, yeah. I would say if you're getting screws for basically free, which is like an estate sale, or like if your dad or your mom or something has like a handful of screws somewhere, just grab them. Don't be picky. Just grab whatever. If you're doing like a specific project, find the right screw for that.
That's
And
a good one.
we'll talk about it later.
Yep.
With specific screws and whatever. If you have a choice between Phillips and a Torx bit or a star bit, I would say the Torx because they're a lot more user friendly.
One quick tip. A lot of the reasons why people strip screws, and Dad's guilty of this with a Torx head, is they do not seat the bit all the way into the screw head. So if you just put it on and you're just like, then start turning it and allow the drill to come back out, it's just going to bounce around and strip it. If you seat it all the way in, then normally you get the right amount of grip.
Pressure.
Yeah, apply pressure and turn it. So quick tip. 2 to 1.
And if you want a future episode on fasteners, because there is so many and it's slightly overwhelming, comment in the comments, and also let us know if you have a specific fastener question. Like,
yes, definitely.
I'm going to frame this wall. What fastener should I use?
I
And
love
we'll
that.
answer it.
It's so helpful to know instead of having to figure it out like by buying a bunch of ones.
Mm-hmm.
We could do, instead of like, I mean, there are literally thousands of kinds of fasteners, but we could do like top 10 fasteners you're likely to need and then like introduce our favorites.
Yeah, and you could also comment on one of our many social posts or join our Facebook group, which is, you just search How to Handyma'am group. But if you want to join our other socials, it's at How to Handyma'am, and you'll find us pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm still beating you. Scores 2 to 1. What's next?
Okay, what's
But I feel like I
next?
should get one for a natural plug.
I don't know.
Da-da-da-da! A ratcheting screwdriver set.
Expensive. I went with my
Yeah.
gut on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with expensive.
Okay. I said cheap.
Oh.
And here's my thing,
We
okay?
might not be good at this.
Mine that I have was $20 on Amazon. But my set, okay, let me explain this. It has this little case, and I was going to bring it in, but I lost it because I can't keep track of anything again. But it is my favorite thing. I actually bought it when I was working in the office, and I was buying tools for our new people. And I got it for one of our new people, and then I stole it from them. Whoops. And then I lost it.
Karma, I guess.
Useless
I guess.
theft.
But it comes in this little case. It's probably like the size of a notepad, like a small notepad. And it has like a little click thing, not hard to open. My favorite thing. It also has like a little hole at the top so you could like hang it if you want.
Oh, nice.
But then I open it and it's got the ratcheting screwdriver body. And it has like almost a like an extension bit that gets like, it has like rungs on it almost. So it can go like longer, shorter. And then it has a conversion bit for precision one. So if like you're fixing your glasses.
Oh,
or,
for tiny little bit.
yeah, for tiny. Which they're called like precision screwdriver kits or whatever. You
I
can
think
get like
electronics have those tiny screws too.
yeah. It has an adapter to put those little ones in it, and it has 6 or 8 like different heads and sizes, and then it has the standard size of flatheads, Phillips, star bits, square bits, those hex bits that have like the circle down in the center. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And then it also has another adapter for hex bolt like
that's
head,
nice.
which is awesome because you don't have a lot of applications if you're a homeowner that you need something like that. But every once in a while, there's something.
TV mounts.
TV mounts.
And
some handrails.
curtain rod mounts and blinds mounts often come with a hex head.
Yeah. And that, it has like 7 or 8 standard sizes. And I've gotten away with using those a lot. And we have like, you know, like big kits of all the different sizes. And I've gotten away with using that for handful of different things and not had to pull out my other thing. So that thing has probably been my favorite tool in my tool bag for sure. And for $20, I mean, that's a lot, I think.
Arly, I have a question.
Yes.
Why would I want a ratcheting screwdriver? What are the applications of that?
Okay, well, I mean, if you're putting together furniture, like
For sure.
just in your house, and so a lot of furniture comes with those Allen keys. You know, those little L-shaped
Allen wrenches.
Allen wrenches,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And these, so a hex bolt or a hex head for, like, in these kits, they're actually the same shape. So they're that octagonal or hexagonal shape.
Hexagonal.
It's hex. And so you can use your ratcheting screwdriver, and you can set it either to go clockwise or counterclockwise, or be unmoving, which is like a manual screwdriver. And you can use it and just go, which is great, especially if you're trying to use one of those Allen keys for something, but then there's like a piece of the furniture right
in the
next to
way.
it. So you have to like put it in and then do like a half turn. You have to take it out, and then you have to put it up, and then you have to do it again. But if you have the ratcheting thing, you just go. That thing's perfect. You can tighten your door handles with it. You could put in your outlet covers, and I mean, there's like endless.
I have a good application.
Yeah.
You know how cabinet hinges have like 16 screws to
Oh,
adjust?
yeah.
It's good for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for so many different things. And it takes a little bit longer if you're going to put something into the wall to do it with a ratcheting screwdriver, but you can get like a screw into a stud in your drywall with a ratcheting
A lot
screwdriver.
easier than a manual screwdriver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's harder than like a drill. But if you don't, like, you almost never need to use a drill. Like, you don't really need to get one, you know. If it's just you and, you know, you just want to hang, like, a not too heavy, like, picture on the wall, like, just get a ratcheting screwdriver or really whatever you can and just get it into the wall. But I would say you don't need to spend a lot of money on those to be able to get it to work for you. I love mine. It's literally, I'm probably going to buy like 7 more so that I...
Like your tape measures?
Yes, so I stop losing them. Or at least I have one, even though I've lost the 6 other ones. But I love those. That's top thing. Like, if I knew my friend was like moving into a place and they don't have any tools, I would buy them that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And definitely, that's my favorite.
Yeah, because putting together this with just the Allen wrench was not fun.
No, that was terrible. And if I hadn't have lost my thing, we would have
had
been
it,
able
yeah.
to be helpful.
Okay.
Plus, Arly and I, for some reason, were putting it together.
That was like not
We
working.
were passing the Allen wrench back and forth. It made absolutely no
You have
sense.
an entire truck full of tools, and you're
You
passing.
had your tool bag right out there. So.
I know, and you're passing like the Allen wrench that
I
came
think it
with
was
the shelf.
just like a bonding moment, maybe.
It was interesting, although we like put it together wrong like 4 times.
Yeah.
We didn't read the instructions, so we were just kind of like
Yeah, please read the instructions.
we were just raw dogging it.
Yeah.
So okay, next one. Utility knife.
Good. Expensive.
Depends on what you're using.
Has to be
it
the
for.
one most perfect utility knife in the world.
Your baby knife.
A utility knife is for utilities. So what do you think?
Cheap.
Expensive.
Um,
Actually, sorry, expensive isn't the right word. quality.
Yeah. Because
Quality
they're
is the
really
right
not
word.
expensive.
They can get kind of expensive. But
For those of you watching video.
yes. Samantha has her favorite
For
This
those
is
of
the
you
knife
watching
a baby
audio,
gave me.
she's showing
Tell-
a red utility knife.
Tell us the story of how you got possession of this.
So I have this Milwaukee Fastback, which I am in love with. And no, Milwaukee doesn't sponsor us right now, but I don't care because I love this so much. I want to talk about it.
Is it one of those that you can go?
Yeah, it's the one you can like hit the button and then spin it out. I love it. Well, okay, so what's awesome about it, if you're not here, it fits nicely in your hand. It has like an indent for your index finger and your middle finger. So you get a good grip on it. It has like little ridges where your thumb goes, so that's also awesome. It has a little clip so it can go on your belt, or you can hang it somewhere like on a bulletin board or like a pegboard. It has a way to cut when it's closed, like a seatbelt cutter, which is pretty amazing. And then my favorite part, it has this little thing that you pull out where you can store your spare blades, so you have fresh ones. And when you take your old ones out, it has a place to put them until you get somewhere you can safely dispose them. And sentimentally, this is the knife a baby gave me. So a few Christmases ago, our family, Sammy and Tom, and I don't think Simo was here yet. It was just JoJo.
I think Simon might have been a wee little guy.
Simon might have been an
Simon
infant.
He was born.
Okay. So Jonah was then maybe 2 or something, and we did a family gift exchange, and we wanted Jonah to be able to participate. So the thing that Jonah gave was this knife. So then a couple years later, I was explaining to my nephew how much I love this knife, and I was like, this is the knife that baby Jonah gave me. And he said, a baby gave you a knife? So now we call it the knife a baby gave me, and I love it.
One reason, like, the thumb holder and the finger spot is really nice is we often use utility blades for, like, cutting drywall or cutting different things that you really need a precision cut for.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to have some, like, the bulky box cutters. They're sometimes hard to manage.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't work, like before I was in the handy field, I called it a box cutter. So I call it a utility knife now. I don't know why.
Because that's a utility knife. A box cutter, I think, is the one that slides up.
Oh, well, so most of you probably in a normal home would have a box cutter, and you would buy it probably at Walmart, or like you wouldn't necessarily go to a hardware store looking for a nice box cutter.
It's in your junk drawer one day.
Yeah, exactly. And most of those,
it just populates.
they have a screw in the middle, so you have to unscrew it and take it apart into 2 pieces to put new blades in, and they're kind of spring mounted, so you have to get it just right. Well, this one you just have one button that you push to pull the blade out and slide a new one in. So that's a feature I didn't even talk about that's fantastic about this knife.
Yeah.
Favorite tool ever.
Because some materials wear out the blades really fast.
They do. If you're cutting drywall with a utility knife, yeah, definitely.
Some of my tips about a utility blade is to always have extra blades. It's important to have extra blades.
And they're
I
cheap.
actually have right here. They sell these packs of utility blades, and they kind of just like slide out.
They have a little
at the bottom.
dispenser on the bottom.
Yeah. One of the things that my mom has always taught me is the only thing more dangerous than a sharp knife is a dull knife.
Yep.
And that is important because something that you can just go easy, you don't have to use a lot of force for it, is relatively safe, considering ignoring the fact that it's an actual like.
Do not cut towards yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And don't put it in your pocket with the blade still out.
But if you have like a dull blade, it's still a sharp piece of metal, even though it is not sharp enough to cut something. And that means you have to push or pull on it very hard. And then you're like slipping around and stuff like that. That's very easy to cut yourself. Plus, these aren't all that expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important to switch the blade around. You can use one side, and then once that gets kind of dull, take it out, flip it around, use the other side, and then toss it when it's time. And then you can recycle them or do whatever. But it's important to keep your blades not super dangerous and nice and sharp.
If I don't have a place to recycle them or toss them properly, I always take a little bit of cardboard and I put them in the cardboard and then I tape it up.
Yeah. That's a safe way to do it. You don't want to just throw them into your kitchen trash.
No.
because just saying trash bag ain't gonna hold up to that.
No,
Nope.
it's
If
not.
it ends up in the wrong place, you're just going to find out about it when you're
Yeah.
carrying the bag out to the trash.
Okay, the next one is a torpedo level.
I love a torpedo level so
What
much.
could it be?
Is it cheap or quality?
Cheap.
Cheap.
Cheap, yeah. So the reason I say cheap is because it is basically one little thing. And a torpedo level is basically like 6 or 8 inches, kind of depending on which one you get. And it basically just has one bubble or multiple like little, they're like little vials of kind of liquid, and then they have a bubble of air in them. And you know that something's level when that bubble sits between these two lines on your level. And that is not rocket science, you know. So many brands have them, you know, non-brand brands have them, you know, like the unmarked ones. And they all work the same. If you drop it really hard and like your bubble isn't level anymore, it doesn't matter if you have a really cheap or a really expensive one. Dropping them basically does the same thing. So
When I was
it doesn't
growing
happen very often.
When I was growing up, we always had a long level. Like, I didn't even know until, like, 6 years ago that torpedo levels were a thing. And so we always had, like, a 3 or 4 foot level. But, like, we use the torpedo level for loads of things where you couldn't fit a 3 or 4 foot level into that space.
Or if you don't have a longer level, if you take a straight piece of board, you can
Put the torpedo level on it
Yeah.
and then turn it into a level.
Yeah. And
It's a handy little tool.
The bigger ones get quite expensive. You know, you
Yeah.
can get a torpedo level for $10 probably.
Yeah, even cheaper, I think.
Yeah, but, you know, when you start to get into, like, 24, 36, 4-foot levels, you know, they get up to, like, 60, 70, $100 fast. And the added benefit of, like, a quality or a higher quality or, you know, and a more expensive torpedo level would be, like, it's magnetized on one side or it has, you know, multiple different bubbles instead of just, like, 1 or 2. But getting a level, you know, to level your pictures at home or, you know, to make sure your door is flush.
Yeah.
Or something like that. That's really the main purpose
I
of
think for a
them.
homeowner, that's going to be the level that you're going to use a lot. Most of us, people who buy homes, hang things. And so that's how you get a...
Oh, you guys don't just hope for the best?
we
I just throw it against the wall and see what happens.
put a nail in, put wires on everything so that you can just hang it on a nail.
But though that's one of my favorites, I gotta say. And
It's so useful.
they're so useful. And a torpedo level can fit in almost any bag. You know, if you're getting a tool bag for just your home, you can fit it in there. Or if you're getting it for somebody else, you can fit it in there. If you only have a drawer at home and you have a limited amount of space that you want your DIY or, you know, tools to occupy, you only want it in this one drawer, it'll fit in that drawer.
Yep.
Those are great.
It's a good junk drawer level.
Yes, it is. Okay, next one.
All right.
Putty knives.
Quality.
I always feel like qualifying because it's like, am I using it for Bondo? I want a really cheap one. Am I using it for... I'm going to go with cheap.
Okay. I said cheap too. I know.
I keep feeling betrayed.
Here's the thing. If you're going to do a ton of drywall repairs, get a nice knife. But a putty knife for a homeowner is probably going to get abused and used for its proper use like once or twice. You know, if you are doing small scale, like fixing holes, you know, a couple of things, then you don't really need like this nice, super sharp, flat-edged putty knife.
Yeah, I mean, usually in a home, you're using them for scraping, for putting spackle in a hole, sometimes as a screwdriver, sometimes as a package opener.
Yeah.
They do get used for a lot of different things in normal household use.
One of the other things that I like about cheap putty knives is they're sharp. Like, really sharp.
Because they're thin.
Yeah, and they, like, when the, I think, like, a metal cutter cuts, like, those sheets of metal into the shape, they don't sand the edges like a quality one would, which is a double-edged sword because you will cut yourself on it. I've gotten like tons of pretty deep paper cuts on those from using it like I'd use a regular knife, where like my hands are like on the metal part.
Yeah.
And I kind of like hold it more at the base, and I've gotten cut from it before. But they are sharp, and that's useful when you're scraping stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And doing stuff like that. And if you get like a cheaper metal one, you can still like beat the heck out of it before it becomes, only a scraper knife.
Yeah, and it still doesn't become unuseful. It just becomes useful for different things.
Yeah. And you can still, you can do a lot of things before it gets, dented up enough where it's hard to use.
It's just one of those basic things like a screwdriver. It's just so useful to have.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a bunch of different sizes, and for a homeowner, I'd say, a 4-inch putty knife is probably fine. They come in, 1.5 or 2 for 8, 10, 12, whatever. They come in varying widths of how wide the paddle part of it is.
Yeah.
But 4 inches, that's a pretty good size for one.
Yeah, you might want a 2-inch too, because sometimes you're doing
like a 2-inch.
spackle between trim and the edge of the wall where you need a skinny thing to get in. But yeah, if you have a 2-incher and a 4-incher, at almost all applications you'd have what you needed.
And there's some, you got us that pack that had 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch. I don't know how much those were, but those were nice.
Those were really nice. It came as a set from Amazon.
Yeah. That would be a great buy for a homeowner, I think. Yeah. Okay. Electrical tape.
I guess I didn't even know there was a cheap versus quality.
I've only ever bought cheap.
I think cheap.
Cheap,
yeah.
Electrical tape is electrical tape. And it doesn't matter what brand it is. They all serve the same purpose.
And they have to be rated.
Yeah, yeah. And they inherently are cheap because it's just a roll. They have different colors and stuff like that and different brands or whatever, but electrical tape is electrical tape. And I would say you should definitely have this on hand as a homeowner.
Yeah.
It comes in handy for a lot of different things.
Yeah, I've used it before if I have the multicolored pack, because then when you're trying to identify which wires are for which things, either in a TV setup or stereo setup or whatever, your computer wires, and you can wrap tape around red is this and black is this. And
Ooh, we should do it to our...
Oh, we should.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
But if you are a homeowner, I think you should have some. Just because if you're going in to change a light switch or, your lighting or whatever it might be, you might open it up and be like, ooh, whoever did this was crazy. And, you need to wrap a wire or something or do something to protect what's in your wall. You want to be able to have that.
It's a basic thing to have in your tool
and
your
you
tool
can
bag.
get a roll of it for less than $1, I think, at the hardware store.
Please be careful with electrical stuff, though.
Yeah. Well, that conversation to be continued.
Yes.
Just have it in your bag. That's all you need to know for now.
The next one is plumbing tape.
Cheap.
Cheap, but yes.
Yeah. Cheap. Same thing, same reasoning. Plumbing tape is plumbing tape.
It's just Teflon tape.
Yeah, they have more expensive stuff, which is plumber grade or whatever.
Oh, the blue tape.
Yeah, which I liked. I think it was maybe a little bit thicker. But
it just means you have to wrap your 2-cent tape 3 more times. So.
Yeah,
The thinner stuff.
I like the thicker stuff purely because we used it when I was in the field. I used it a lot, but if I'm only using it for a shower head, I'm buying the 99-cent kind.
Can I give one quick tip if I promise not to go down a tangent?
Yeah.
You do not need to use electrical tape on your you don't need to use plumbing tape on plastic fittings.
Yeah.
If you look in a fitting and there's rubber in there, you're actually not supposed to use it.
It will make it worse, not better. So plastic
the
fittings.
instructions will usually at the beginning of if you get a new shower head or something.
Oh, silly girl, you're assuming the instructions get read.
If you look at your instructions, it'll say what you need. Yeah. And if plumber's tape is on there, it's 99 cents. It is cheap. In the plumbing aisle, but it's also often in an Ace, it's on an end cap. As you're checking out.
It's one of those random things, yeah.
And this also goes back a little bit further to when we were talking about if you get something and you have extra screws and nails or whatever, keep them. When you get certain, it kind of depends on your brand or whatever you're getting, but some shower heads or faucets or whatever, they come with a little like almost like those small dental floss things.
Oh, they do.
of
They come with a tiny
plumbers.
little roll of plumber's tape.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you have some or you don't need it or whatever, keep it.
Yeah.
And you probably won't
yeah.
use all of it anyway, so just keep that little thing, and then you'll have it for next time. You don't,
Yeah.
the whole thing is probably like
This is a
less than
fun, like,
$1
walk down
too.
memory lane of, like, just the simplest tools that are so useful in so many applications.
I didn't
know.
know what plumber's tape was 5.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I used to just raw dog screw things in, and that's why everything at my parents' house leaks.
You're like, who has some bubble gum?
I was just like, they screw together. I don't need anything.
Yeah, when plumbing fittings go together, you need something to stop the water. Because, of course, the thread is great, but it's not a perfect seal. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need something. Okay, the next one is pliers.
Good. Quality. And I will, if you want, I will tell you a nice, medium, long story about why. But let me just say, quality.
Well, I said cheap. I'm sorry. I said cheap because I would have, like 6 months ago, I would have said quality. But I've been using pliers. Okay, first of all, when I first started working here, I had many different types of pliers. Over the years, I have lost every single one of them, and I no longer ever have pliers with me. Never. If anybody says, don't you have pliers? Nope. I do
so
not.
silly.
Why don't you grab your pliers? Nope.
Because
Nope,
they don't
have 'em.
exist.
They do
They're
not
with
exist.
my broom.
They're gone. But I've been using them at this house that I've been working, and I've been working at my sister-in-law's house for free, and I go over to her house, and all she has there is a pink tool bag with random tools. It was like $30 for the whole thing, and she has cheap pliers there, and they're great. Couldn't notice a difference between that and anything else.
I think it's, once again, like, if you're in the field and using pliers a lot.
I think
like,
it's a difference. Yeah. Because the problem I have with cheap pliers is the mechanism that, like, I mean, they're basically like scissors. You know? They basically have the same mechanism. If that gets loose, they don't work as well.
That's true.
And
I have a pair at my house that you can adjust that.
all of them you can adjust it. This is beside the point. I could just
You're
fix
like,
it.
I don't want to fix
I
the
don't
tool.
like pliers that are like you use them 3 times and then they're loose and then you got to tighten them and use them. So, but in a normal house, pliers at estate sales, because people who love tools buy nice tools and then eventually they pass away and then you can buy all their really nice tools for not very much money.
Yeah.
Hand tools are notoriously cheap at estate sales.
Yeah.
Estate sale tip, go on the last day.
Oh yeah, everything's 50% off.
Yeah. I'd say if you are moving in somewhere soon, or if you live on your own now, or, whatever, you should look around, springtime to see who's died.
Sounds terrible.
Lord, no. You should see what kind of sales are around and go looking for them. It does take a little extra time, and you have to work around the schedule of garage sailing rather than store hours. But it is worth it, especially if somebody's working in the field like we do every day, we love them. We love going there because we get
Or like, ooh.
even
one of
like
these. One
medium
of these.
quality or cheap ones, but you get them still for cheap.
Yeah.
And if you're not, doing this for a living, it makes sense to buy them like secondhand instead
it
of,
does.
spending.
Well, I
your
do
money
it
on
for a
that.
living, and hand tools, I feel like, if you take care of them, which actually doesn't require a whole lot, don't leave them out in the rain. Like,
Yeah.
they will last a really, really long time and be super durable, even the inexpensive ones.
Yeah. And
Habitat Restore sells hand tools as well.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like saws and drills and stuff, they keep getting like kind of nicer and better and higher quality and more convenient. But like a screwdriver is a screwdriver.
Pretty much a
Yeah.
screwdriver.
Yeah. It hasn't changed.
They perfected
long
the
time.
design of that a while ago, and
Yeah.
it still works.
So there's nothing like new or crazy coming out that might be like a step above. It's all going to be the same.
Yep.
So, okay, next is, I wasn't sure whether to share this one for homeowners or not. A square.
Oh, a speed square or carpenter square?
Yeah.
Cheap.
Okay, I don't know if cheap is plastic and metal is quality, but I prefer metal, so I'm going to go with quality.
I like the plastic ones. I'm going to go with cheap.
Okay. I actually didn't put anything next to it, so you're both right.
Yay!
I wasn't sure whether to share this one or not.
I just like a metal one because the plastic ones can get munched up.
I can see, though, why you hesitated, because as a homeowner who didn't work in this field, I had like an old-fashioned giant metal carpenter square.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're talking about, right, is a speed square, which is basically a triangle with an edge on it.
It's like
which
EA big. If you're listening, I think there's 7 inches by 7 inches.
I use it in the field all the time.
I know, me too.
But I like you know what? I like the orange plastic ones because I know where they are. Like in my tool bag, I can pull it out easily, and it's something I use a lot. So, yeah, there's probably, I mean, any of the things you've mentioned is probably like, how in the field are you? How much is it homeowner? It is a difference, but yeah, I think in general, I would vote cheap. But
yeah, I would say cheap. Whether you need it as a handyma'am essential is dependent on whether you are going to use it or not.
I think if you're a home handyma'am who uses a saw, you're going to need a speed square.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're a home handyma'am who in general doesn't use a saw, you probably won't have a need for a speed square.
And don't want to know how not 90 your corners are.
Yeah, just don't look.
If you don't have a need for things being square, or if you're not making anything or creating anything, if you're just hanging things and just generally trying to
Like tighten
have
things, fix
upkeep
things
in your house, then you really don't need one. But if you do, a couple bucks, and you can put it in your tool bag. Okay, next one. Work gloves.
I'm going to say quality, but I will say quality ones aren't necessarily expensive.
Yeah, they're not very expensive.
Yeah. I said cheap, only because I have bought like a nice pair of work gloves.
Yeah, you have like a Carhartt leather pair.
Yes, and they were probably like $35, which I think are pretty expensive.
Yeah,
for
that is
work
expensive,
gloves.
yeah.
Especially because you can get those like plastic coated ones for, I don't know,
Like
$4.
glitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cheap.
And I said cheap because if you're a homeowner and you're getting them because you're moving lumber once or something, get cheap ones.
Yep.
If you are consistently using something, maybe get like, not the $30 pair, but maybe a step up from the $4 pair. Or grab a pack of 5 of the
The leather ones
pair
don't
or
even make
something.
sense to buy if you're a homeowner who won't use them very often because they're stiff and uncomfortable.
Yeah, and
once you
have to
use them a lot, they're like beautiful and buttery.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not going to use them very much, then buy the like cloth ones. Sometimes they're padded. If you're like using a drill, it helps absorb the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Or it has like a rubberized coating if you're usually that's like working with wet things like in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some different uses, but really any of those would work.
Yeah. I think that's important because I used to think that it was just for when you were working with sharp or, gross things or whatever. But it's actually really helpful because, like, I have little baby hands. And no matter how much I work in the field, I don't get calluses. Like my dad has really thick calluses and so does Jace. But I don't get those. So if I am like really wrenching on something or using a hammer a lot, I will get blisters.
Oh, yeah, same.
And sometimes like shoveling and whatever too, and sometimes I'll be wearing gloves and I'll still get blisters, but not as fast or not as bad if I'm wearing gloves. But I wear my gloves because even though I get these blisters, you know how people get blisters and then they turn into calluses? Mine never.
No, mine don't.
It's been 2.5 years and I still don't have a single
No,
callus
I'll get
on
a
my
blister
hands.
and it will like heal and then it will like fall off slowly. And
and then it
that's
turns
normal
back into
skin
baby
again.
skin.
I wonder if it's a guy thing.
Maybe. I don't know. But my hands just cannot take like that.
Well, we handle a lot of things that are pokey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can like handle them super carefully and try not to poke yourself, but just put a pair of gloves on. It's not a big deal.
No.
Or I like the ones with the padding when I'm using an impact driver or a saw a lot because there's a lot of vibration and it really does help with fatigue. So you might not need that normally as a homeowner, but if like you're building built-in bookshelves or you're building a bed, like a set of bunk beds, or you're like building something, you're going to be using like saws and drills quite a bit, and they do help. Especially if you're a homeowner and you don't do it all the time, your hands aren't going to be used to it.
Yeah.
You'll end up finding you have like the tingle all the way up to your elbow that sticks around for a while, that's not a good thing.
No. I get that especially when I'm using any tool that vibrates.
Yeah.
Like a multi-tool.
The multi-tool, yeah.
And the jigsaw a little bit too.
The jigsaw, I
but
use it a lot.
the multi-tool is probably the worst. When it goes like that, and then I go like...
Or anything that's like oscillating, because sanders will do the same thing. That's actually, a sander is something a homeowner is more likely to use.
That's true.
And so the anti-vibration gloves are really nice.
Yeah. Okay. This isn't technically a tool, but I want to add this in there. Get drywall anchors. That's just there. I don't even know if there's quality drywall anchors.
They're all plastic.
Yeah, you can get a kit of like a bunch of different sized ones.
I do have a preference for drywall, though.
Okay, tell me.
So most anchors of any kind, you make a hole and pound it in. Mm-hmm. Everybody has seen those. And then as the screw goes in, the little nuggets on the side open up and hold it in. Mm-hmm. But for drywall, and this does not work with plaster, it does not work with wood, it does not work with concrete, only works with drywall. They make an anchor that looks like a screw. Mm-hmm. And so the cool thing is it has like the little end of it is like flat. So you can put it on the wall where you want it and give it like a gentle tap with a hammer, and that little part will go in. And then you can just stick a screwdriver inside the anchor and turn it until it goes doot, 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 and then it's flush against your wall, and then you put a screw in.
Those work perfect for drywall. Don't use those on plaster walls.
No, they only, on plaster walls, they'll just pull the plaster away from the wall.
Yeah, you'll just chunk it out.
Yeah. But for drywall, they're like... What an invention.
Yeah.
They make them in metal, too, which are a little more durable.
Those before.
Yeah, those are awesome. I love those.
Definitely. I just think as a homeowner, you should have some.
We do need to set up a link section.
Yeah,
because there's so many things that's like, just go buy this because you're going to love it. I know you're going to love it.
And, there's probably tons of different kinds of drywall anchors and whatever. I don't know if there's like a brand that sells them specifically or whatever, but they don't need to be like super fancy or have like any kind of like meaning at all to them. Just anchors. They usually come in a kit with correlating screw sizes.
Yep.
So
the one thing I will say is pay attention to what the kit says they're for.
Yes.
Because there are different anchors for different materials that you're putting in
don't hang
anchor.
a TV with a 10-pound anchor.
Do not ever hang a TV with an anchor. You need a stud.
Yeah. So that, I wanted to throw that in.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that.
Utility scissors.
Quality.
I say quality because of the amount of times I've used non-utility scissors for utility things. And then had to never use those scissors again because they won't cut anything anymore.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
Can you show your utility scissors? Because
Yes.
we have like 3 pairs like among the 10 of us, and I love them so much.
Yes.
And they can be sharpened again. So like even when you abuse them, you can bring them back to life. So for those of you that aren't watching on video, this set happens to be like a Milwaukee pair, which we really love. They have really nice grip, and it's like nice and thick, so you can use them and you can wrench on them. They have a really nice mechanism where the blades come together, and that can be tightened if they loosen up.
I've
they
had
can
those
be sharpened
for probably 2 years. I've never sharpened them, and I haven't had to tighten them before either. They really have held up really well, and the grip is still intact, and I've cut carpet with it.
Yeah. Utility scissors will look a little different than normal scissors. They're normally a little offset. They look a lot like fabric scissors.
They do.
They're meant, you can lay them flat and cut along there. It has inches on it.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't even know that. They have inches on them. Anyway, they're very cool. If you just look up Milwaukee utility scissors, they're very cool.
For a moment.
That's the sound
These ones
good pair of scissors make.
These are covered in mortar, and I think probably some caulk and
probably wallpaper paste.
I see some paint too.
Yeah, there's so much stuff on this, and they still cut fantastic.
Love them.
I love these. Can't say enough good things about them.
Your dad would ground you if he saw those scissors and the condition they're in.
He would definitely, yes. He's like at the shop right now,
taking care
sharpening
of some of our tools.
all of our tools, and he looked at one of the chisels and he was like looked at me, and I'm like, I told you we needed somebody, to sharpen these tools for us.
We do, yeah.
We use chisels for
Everything that
Everything.
chisels are not made for.
Yeah. You're like, don't have...
Which is exactly what homeowners do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean...
you end up using it. So if you learn how to sharpen your tools, you can bring them back to life.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This one is maybe a little controversial. A stud finder.
Quality. Emphatic quality.
I say quality.
Do you know how many times I have found, I'm using quotation marks, a stud
Yes.
that is not a stud? It
I
is
know.
not near a stud. It might be a pipe. It might be air. It might be insulation. Somehow it's like beep, beep, beep. And then you put a screw in and it's like, nope, gotcha. It's
Yeah.
not there.
We have a deep wall
That
scanner.
one's so nice.
And when Emily got them, I was like, that's way too much for a stud finder. It was like $60.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. Because you can get a regular stud finder for $20, probably.
A good one. You can even get probably 15.
Yeah. But I was like, that's too much money. I even was like, maybe we should return some of these. Because I think she got 3 or 4 of them. But now we all fight over them. It was probably the best purchase we have made. They're so good. They have Let me just explain my passion for these deep wall scanners. First of all, they work if you have plaster and lath. You can still see the studs, which regular stud finders cannot do.
Nope.
It'll just say, there's a stud everywhere.
Yes, because it senses the wood of the lath, which are like the little
Slat boards.
the slat boards. But a deep wall scanner will find where your stud actually is. And they also tell you where the studs that have electrical are. So if you are going across your wall, it has like a little lightning bolt, I think, that will light up when you are on the electrical wires. It can sense those. And then ours also has a little measurer, I think it's like 6 inches, so every inch is marked on there. And I think the 1/2 and 1/4 inches are too. And then it has a little golf pencil that sits on the inside, which took me forever to find. But it's my favorite thing because I'll always be like, oh, there's a stud, and be like,
I think you're like reaching,
yeah,
reaching,
I'm like, I left my pencil over there. And then I
like-
have to find it again. But they have one in the back. And then it also has a little bubble on it for level. So if you're hanging up a picture or something, you might not need a torpedo level too, because it basically is one.
You have this phenomenal deep wall scanner.
Yeah.
That serves
And
multiple purposes.
So I would say quality. I know that like if somebody's hanging like pictures and stuff, it might not be easy to afford a $60 stud finder. But if you're hanging a lot of stuff, especially things that need to be in studs, I would say get it. Like I don't want anybody to feel like they can't do it without a stud finder. But
you can always start with an inexpensive one, and if you keep finding that your stud finder doesn't find your studs, because houses are built differently, and the ones on the like more entry level line are like inconsistent. So if you have
a new build, it'd probably work.
Yeah,
just
our
fine.
daughter Hannah lived in a building that had no insulation. So it was literally drywall and studs. That was all that was in the walls. So that entry-level one worked just fine. But then, like, we live in a 175-year-old house, and it's like there's a lot of stuff. There's horsehair in there. There's several layers of plaster. There's lath. There's whatever. There's car siding. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, so I definitely think that a stud finder is a need in a house, to be honest. Okay. Nail nippers.
Quality.
Quality.
Okay.
And again, I'll say quality isn't necessarily expensive, but there are bad nail nippers and good nail nippers.
Okay. I said cheap because I did not realize that there could be expensive nail nippers. I've only seen
it's like a difference of
kinds.
$2.
It's not a huge amount of money, but the problem with we'll call low end nail nippers, because there's not a huge price range, but the low end nail nippers will actually, indent isn't the right word, but they don't hold the part that grabs the nail doesn't hold its shape. The nails change the shape of the nippers. So you end up with like little dents or little divots in your nail nippers, which after a while it makes it's harder to get a good handle on nails that are hard to pull out.
I think you probably want like steel.
Okay.
Okay.
So up until like 2 years ago when I started working here, I had no idea what nail nippers are.
They're so
And basically, they are the most convenient version of the fork part of your hammer. So the fork part of your hammer can be like slid underneath the heads of your nails, and then you use the handle to pry back, so you get your nails out. These you can use nails that don't have heads, like finish nails, which would probably be great for a homeowner because the amount of like nails with heads you're gonna find if you're just doing normal like everyday stuff are very low.
Yeah, because those are normally stuff that's buried.
Yeah, so trim mostly, and then maybe some built-ins or whatever are gonna be your traditional
Finish
nails.
Or brad nails, people sometimes call them.
Yeah. But basically, you just like pry onto them like a set of pliers.
Yeah, like a set of pliers.
Yeah. And you can either like squeeze it really tight and break it. Or what we prefer to do if we can is you squeeze it, but not all the way. And then you use this rounded edge.
Just like a hammer, you roll it back.
To roll it, and then your nail eventually comes out.
It will gently pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these are just amazing. I just
those
love
are
them.
pretty heavy duty ones. I like, like you can tell like this part of it, you can't see if you're just listening, and that's okay. But like the handle parts of it are like nice and thick, so they hold up really well. Mm-hmm. And then you want something, I mean, theoretically you should sharpen your tools. So you want something that has enough guts to sharpen it so it can be used repeatedly. You don't want like single use nail nippers.
Yeah. And once you sharpen them, they're just like
they're just gone. Yeah. They're just like finger cutters then.
Yeah. So I love those so much. Okay, and then I have nail punches.
Cheap, for sure.
Cheap, because I lose them.
Cheap, yeah. They're basically the size of golf pencils. And the tip of them looks just like a golf pencil, but the butt of them looks like a really thick...
Like the back end of a pencil.
Yeah.
They look like the front end of a pencil and a back end of a pencil.
Yeah.
Only golf pencil, like you said, because they're only about 3 inches long.
Yeah. And basically, you use them. They have different tips. Some of them are pointed and some of them are slightly concaved. Basically, the purpose of them is you put it on the head of a nail or, whatever.
And this is back to finish nails and brad nails.
Yes. And you hit it with your hammer. You hit the butt of it with your hammer because the head of your hammer is quite large, an inch or more, depending on what kind of hammer you have. So if you're trying to hit in, like, something with your baseboard, the odds that you're going to make, like, a big old, like...
Hammer-shaped dent.
Yeah.
Real high. Yeah.
Exactly. But if you have... like a little nail that's sticking out of like a transition strip in your hallway or out of your wooden floors or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You can take it and you put it on the head and you tap it in and it just resets it below the surface.
Yep.
And that, I think, those are pretty cheap. You can probably get a pack of 5 of them for like $5.
Yeah.
Or you can find them at tons of garage sales
Yes.
and estate sales. And they're great.
They're
for a
so
lot of
useful.
things.
They're
Yeah.
great, like you said, for repairing. Like you keep snagging your socks on something in the floor. But they're also great if you're installing baseboard and you don't own or rent or borrow like a powered nailer. If you're like, you got one stretch of it and you're going to put it in with finished nails and a hammer, like Arly said, you're going to get close to the wood and then you're going to be like, well, it still sticks out like a tiny, tiny bit. But if I hit it with the hammer, then I'm also going to make a dent in my wood. This, you just put it right on that little part that's sticking out 1/32 of an inch and just tap. And then it's under the surface.
Yeah, those are, I love those. And I always underestimate how much I'm going to need them when I do like trim and stuff. Okay, so those were all homeowner, like, everyday type of tools that you might need. Now, I have 3 essentials for somebody who is just beginning to get into the DIY stuff. Or if you're just a step above your home handyman.
So you don't just take care of your home, but you like do projects.
Yeah, or you are starting to do a couple of things that you maybe otherwise would hire out to somebody else.
Okay, yeah.
And the first thing is a power tool. The first thing is a powered drill. And this could be an impact drill or a regular drill. I have a strong belief that you need both of them, but that is coming from a person who has, like my dad, has always had a drill and an impact driver. And the difference in this is a drill. And this basically takes anything in here. So like circle bits, whatever, like the base of them.
Hex base bits.
Yeah, they can look like anything. And you can screw pretty much anything. You can drill holes with it. The only thing that it can't do is it's not great when you really need something to like be forced in quite hard. Yeah. So if you have an old house and you have like old oak studs, getting a Phillips head screw into one of those studs is going to be pretty darn hard.
And I would say our primary audience is women. Mm-hmm. If you are like Jace and you're 6 feet tall and you're very strong and you have a good leverage point because of your height, you can force it in with a normal drill. So an impact driver is helpful to guys, but it's particularly helpful to women because it just gives you that little oomph that our natural build doesn't necessarily give.
Yeah. It has, I don't know what kind of magic it has, but it doesn't have the chuck. So you don't tighten it in there. You have like one sized bit that fits into it. Yeah, and it has this quick release on here. And you can get drill bits. If you only want to get one drill, but you know that eventually you're going to need to pre-drill something or drill holes into something, you can get drill bits that have that impact like attachment. Yeah, at the base of them. And then you can use an impact as both.
This is probably where I'd fight you. Because I would say if you're a homeowner and you only are going to buy one, you should get a normal drill. Because you're right. Because with a normal drill, you can use driver bits and drill bits. You can use you can use Phillips head bits. You can use Torx head bits. You can put in things with a shank, a hex shank, things with a smooth shank. You can use it for all. You're right. For the impact driver, they do make the drill bits that come with the hex bottom that you need for the quick release. I hate them. They break super easy. So I will meet you in the parking lot and we will have it out.
We will fight it out. Well, I guess you can go either drill if you're only going to get one.
You could make it work with
one.
They often sell them in kits though for a good deal.
You can get good sales. You can normally,
especially around Christmas.
You can get between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you can get lots of good deals. And what you'll usually find
is Father's Day,
a drill, an impact driver, a battery, and a charger.
Yeah, this kit was an impact driver, a drill, 2 batteries, a charger, and a bag.
Nice.
For $200, which is a lot if you don't have a lot of money, but it is cheaper than getting like a drill independently because sometimes they'll sell just the drill for like $150. Yeah. And sometimes that doesn't even include a battery or a charger. It's just the tool.
They call it the bare tool is usually what it says on the box.
Sometimes you can find them on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, you can.
Facebook Marketplace is a good place. Or if say somebody who has a lot of tools, be like, hey, the next time you're getting a tool, I'll buy this one from you.
Yeah.
For like a little bit. So
because people who love tools are like, ooh, I want the new one.
Yeah. And so if you ask your neighbor who has a lot of tools and be like, hey, are you interested in getting the new tool? Because I could really use a used tool.
You start sending sales flyers to your neighbor.
You're like, if you get this one, I'll buy this older one from you. Yeah. But that's a great tool to have. I think that maybe every homeowner or just any person who is living in a home that they need to keep up with.
I think even if you live in an apartment and all you're doing is hanging pictures, you should have a drill because you can do less damage to the walls hanging your things if you have a drill.
Yeah.
So I would vote when our daughter Hannah, she's not handy. When she moved into her first apartment, I bought her a tool set and it was a drill and hand tools and a couple batteries and a charger. But it was the only power tool she had was a drill. But that's necessary. And she hangs a lot of things on her wall. So yeah.
The next one I have, I don't even need to look at my list. I remember this one, is a multi-tool. So this is probably the first saw I would tell somebody to get. I don't know if it's necessarily considered a saw. It's called an oscillating saw or a zippy, some people call it, or a multi-tool, which we have one
I will say this is the best tool that if you don't work in the industry, you never knew existed.
Yes. And the thing about this is you can cut anything with it. And it takes a long time to cut some stuff with it. Say you need to cut 1 2x4 for something, it's going to be a lot faster to cut it with a circular saw.
Any number of other saws.
Yeah.
But you can cut it with it.
But you can cut it with this. And you can cut, metal with it. You can cut...
Yeah, it comes... the blades are anything. Quick change blades.
Yeah.
You can get wood cutting blades. You can get metal cutting blades. You can get grout scraping out blades.
Yeah,
you can get flooring popping up blades. You can get sander attachment, which is
a sander attachment actually comes with this one.
Love it.
Everyone I've seen comes with a sander attachment.
I love that tool so much.
It is great. It has, we call it a multi-tool because it has multi-uses, but it really, really does. You can, instead of getting an oscillating saw or an oscillating sander, you can get one of these, and you can, use it for any number of things.
If you refinish furniture, that's a great sander.
Yeah, detail sanding. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It even has, so the normal one is probably the size of like a hockey puck, and it's a triangle. But they also have finger sander attachments, which is probably the size of like
a finger.
Stick of gum, maybe? A little bit bigger than a stick of gum.
Yeah, it's like a little bit fatter and shorter than a stick of gum.
Yeah.
But this is great. It's just all around a great tool. So if you're thinking of buying an entry-level saw, I would definitely think you should get a multi-tool.
I would say after a drill, it would be the next power tool I would recommend that a homeowner buy.
Definitely.
And the thing about this that's so useful, that's like things you can cut with a jigsaw, you can cut with this. Things you can cut with a metal cutting blade on a miter saw, you can cut with this. The difference with this is you can get into lots of places that you cannot, like, especially if you're cutting something that's already installed somewhere, particularly useful. I mean, if you've got like a free piece of lumber, you're going to, can put it on the miter saw, cut it, or chop saw, as my brother called it. But this is really helpful when things are already installed somewhere and you need to cut them.
If you need to get a piece of baseboard out and you can't get the nails out, you can
cut the nails off.
If you are trying to patch a hole in your wall and you need to take out a square of drywall, you can use this.
Oh, one of my favorite uses, if you've put spray foam somewhere.
Oh, yes.
And you let it come out and cure, you can make a beautifully straight, just and with a utility knife, it's harder. You kind of have to hack chunks out. Yeah. But with this, you just under it.
The blades for this are never ending. You can get regular looking wood and metal and plastic blades. You can get ones that are fanned out so that they cut like
more
wider. You can get like little scraper looking ones. If you're like scraping up something from the floor, it kind of oscillates back and forth and scrapes underneath. You can, we talked about sanders. There's grinder attachment type things.
It's so useful.
It is great for a lot of
things. It was a game
things.
changer. I remember my brother-in-law Mike was here. So we started our adventure. I think we've talked about this before, but we started our adventure in this house that we're in right now because COVID hit and we had already torn the house up and we had to do most of the repairs ourselves. So my brother-in-law Mike was here and he and Jim were working on the soffit on the front porch and I was installing trim in the bathroom around the vanity that I had just installed. I was preparing to install the vanity, but I needed to push the vanity all the way against the wall in order for it to not have a gap at the top. But there was baseboard at the bottom. So I'm like, but it had legs, it wasn't a square on the bottom. It had legs, so it was up off the ground. So I don't want to just take out the piece of baseboard because then it would be missing underneath and you'd be able to see that. So I went out and asked Mike, I'm like, I don't know what to do, like how to get this. And at that point, like I couldn't even imagine, like what tool would I use for that if I didn't know about a multi-tool? I was thinking I was going to have to like carve it out with a utility knife. So Mike just reaches into his bag and he's like, this is what you want? It's a multi-tool. And I'm like, how does that work? And he showed me and it was life-changing.
Yeah, it's great.
It's amazing.
It's
I was
great
just
for
like,
a lot of things.
Leg size, push it in. Perfect.
It's great for so many different things. All right, and then the last thing that is absolutely essential if you have any power tools at all, ear protection.
Oh.
And let me ask, ear protection, cheaper quality?
Cheap. Because you can use the cheapo earplugs, and they are rated for that.
I will say, for me, the ones I put in my ears, something is wrong with my ears. They don't stay in. So I like the ones that go over my ears.
Yeah. This is probably like a personal thing. I say quality. I've used many different types of ear protection. I've used like brand name, like construction ones. I've used those earplugs. But the ones I really, really like that can really protect my ears and help me get through the day with some sanity is like shooting ear protection.
Yeah, they have the highest rating of ear protection.
And normally, I mean, there's a bunch of different reasons. I mean, like vacuums, when I have ear protection on, I am so much more like not bothered by this constant sound of like vacuuming. And then the tile saw is loud, and sometimes I have to spend a lot of time right next to it. The multi-tool oscillating sander, so many different things. Sometimes even the impact drill when you're using it a lot.
That one I especially need ear protection for, that because I think it will like ratchet up my nervous system. Like the longer that I use things without ear protection, it's just like, and eventually it's like, So it's ear protection, and it's also sanity protection. Yeah.
I like to just put my headphones in, with, like my AirPods or whatever, with a podcast or something, and then I put my ear protection over it, and there's there's like a serenity.
There is.
It's like when you're in a little bubble as like a storm is raging outside. You're just like da 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 da. And it helps a lot of times when I get very frustrated, because I've been like at the tile saw for 17 years trying to cut this piece of something forever. And it is really nice. Plus, you might be like, I don't need one. But if you have something going for a while and then you turn it off and you're kind of like, ugh, you feel kind of weird. It's because you need ear protection. Yeah. You're exposing your ears to too much noise, and it's a frequency that isn't appropriate for your brain, and you just don't want to jingle your brain.
It happens faster than you would think. Mm-hmm. I remember there was one time, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when I was like, I was thinking the noise doesn't bother me. That was my approach. Like, it didn't, in the beginning, I was like, it's loud, it's fine, it doesn't bother me. But then after a while, I was like, there's a ringing in my ear. And I was like, have I ruined my hearing? And I was like, I will go insane with this ringing in my ear. And sometimes, and luckily for me, it was temporary, but sometimes that happens and it's permanent. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, homeowners might think, I only do this every now and then. But traumatic ear injury can happen with repetition, or it can happen with just the wrong combination of frequency and decibel level. So that's an important one.
That was my last one. If you have any tools, and if you're doing anything, really look into the PPE that you need. It's important for a lot of different reasons, but we got one body, and we have generations of men before us that have not used protection.
That uncle with half of his fingers missing? Yeah. Everybody has one.
Or, your grandpa that had concrete lung, or somebody who can't hear anymore, or, has one eye, or can't really use their eyes that well, or whatever it might be. It's just safer just to do it. Yeah. And it's like a small amount of inconvenience for just keeping your life the way that it is,
If you have questions about these tools, or tools that we haven't talked about, so do other people. Mm-hmm. So if you were to snap a picture of that tool and put it on the How to Handyma'am Facebook group and be like, what is this tool for? Or can I use this tool for this application? We can give you very specific guidance on that. Mm-hmm. And other people will be like, I wondered what that thing was that's in the garage. Other people will have the same questions. Or we can even talk about, and here's the safety equipment with that particular tool. Like a lot of people think gloves are great. Gloves are great. Well, if you're using a blade that spins, you should not be wearing gloves. Yeah, so just knowing, just little things like that, knowing what's appropriate.
Yeah. And, when in doubt, look it up. We have lots of answers to questions, but the information is out there if you're desperately looking for something. And it is just better to be safe than anything else. I have definitely learned that over and over and over and over and over again. Cutting myself and, like, knocking my head on something or getting stuff in my eye or whatever it might be.
It's just
And
not worth
then-
it. A
or, like,
moment can change your life.
yeah, or, like, multiple days of, like, my head hurting and my ears ringing because...
You're like, why do I have a migraine?
Yeah, because I wasn't... Or, like, sometimes my ears, like, the inside of my ears physically hurt.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're exhausted from, like, all of the noise and stuff. And that gets hard. And it was really a game changer when I got those shooting headphones.
Yeah.
Because it took it from, like, it was a 10, and then with the regular ones, the construction graded ones, those were, like, took it down to, like, a 7. But those other ones took it to, like, a 2.
Yeah.
And it's, like, the noise
So for those of you that
low
are maybe
and-
just getting into the field, that's one thing that would make sense to invest in.
Yeah. They're also a lot slimmer than the other ones.
They are, yeah. I will say, like, kind of as a follow-up to all of the things that we've just talked about, that I don't remember what I was going to say. No, I was going to say, so we're, if you can't tell, we're passionate about education and we have trouble reining it in, but that's just because we're so excited about teaching and the purpose of this podcast. This is like the gateway drug for us because we want to be able to bring in-person education to women. And the podcast is our vehicle to get us started. So if you love that and you also want it to happen, then you can help us by helping to spread the word about the podcast. And you can find us anywhere at My Handyma'am if you want to see us doing cool things for customers. And you can find us at How to Handyma'am if you want to see us show you how to do cool things for yourself.
Yay!
Yeah.
We love you.
We love
I love you. Mwah, mwah.